Okay.
We're back. People in the UK are voting today in a general election that could see the Conservative Party's 14-year reign come to an end.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, whose Conservative Party has been in power for 14 years, asking voters for another chance.
Bro, 14 years of austerity with the Tories, it's so Jover. Like, it's not even just Rishi Sunak. Nobody could fucking salvage the situation. I mean, listen, the English, they have a tendency to be like, oh, we hate that the NHS is underfunded, so this time we're gonna vote for the Tories again. They do have that tendency. Because I remember last time around, they were like, 9 years of austerity must be put an end to, which is why I'm voting for the Tories once again. It's like, what do you mean? Like, what needs to be done for you to understand that, like, these guys fucked the country up? But this time it does feel like it's actually Jover. It's really awful, though, because it's Jover for the Tories at a time when, like, Labour is basically repositioning to be the Tory party, which is very sad state of affairs, okay? Oh, my God. Anyway, let's keep going.
Conservative prime ministers in a row forced to resign since the 2016 Brexit referendum that saw the UK crash out of the European Union. Many voters here are in an unforgiving mood. Labour's Kier Starmer poised to become Britain's next.
The only way that the Labour loses this is if Keir Starmer and the current Labour, which is literally so goddamn Tory adjacent, so goddamn conservative. The only way that the Labour would ever lose this, instead of the insane landslide victory that they're supposed to get in this circumstance, like their opposition, once again, has recycled leadership unceremoniously in a way that I have never seen in modern politics. 14 years of austerity. People are fucking annoyed with both the cost of everything going up and also with the amenities that they normally took for granted getting worse and worse year over year due to privatization. The river is full of shit. The water is bad. Everything's expensive. I mean, it can't go on like this. So the only way that this fucker still loses this absolute silver platter dub that they're giving to the Labour Party is because he is so unimaginably dog shit. It's just, Starmer is so bad. It would be entirely Starmer's defeat if that was to even happen, which I don't think it will. But although I don't believe that there's a chance that Labour loses, British people are crazy, man. Who knows? Oh, Jesus.
Do you think people are excited about voting for Labour, or they just want to punish the Conservatives at this point?
Well, I think a lot of people are very excited about voting for Labour because they're desperate for change in the country.
You literally just described, yeah, no, people aren't excited to vote for Labour, the current Labour. You literally openly admitted that they're voting against the Tories. They're excited to punish the Tories. Okay, so they're not excited to vote for Labour. They're excited to fucking punish the Tories. Old Labour, yes. Fuck this right-sided Labour. I mean, this is also, in some ways, old Labour as well. Dick riding NATO and America into fucking oblivion and being otherwise dogshit conservative is old Labour. There was only a brief period of Labour that wasn't like that. Contemporary Labour Party has been more like Keir Starmer, the kid starver, and less like Corbyn.
Now, unlike the US, here in the UK, there's no transition period between an election and a new government taking office. So, assuming the Labour Party wins tonight, Keir Starmer will give his victory speech. He'll sleep for a couple of hours. He will head to Buckingham Palace just down the road to see the King, and then he will immediately take office as the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
It's so funny seeing like UK politics resemble American politics so closely. Not gonna lie, guys, things are not looking good.
When Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced the election,
over the next few weeks, I will fight for
the wettest way to announce an election. You know, music blaring in the background, just wet as fuck. A perfect representation of his administration.
I will earn your trust.
it was the soggiest of starts,
So that's interesting.
which led to a clumsy campaign. As voters go to the polls, support for his leadership has sunk to the lowest.
Yeah, bro's got the wifey poo on lock, okay? I mean, his pop was wealthy too, but like his wife is really fucking wealthy.
Over the past 14 years, there have been 5 successive conservative prime ministers. First, David Cameron, who resigned when the Brexit referendum he called didn't go the way he wanted it to. Next up, Theresa May, who quit because she couldn't secure a divorce deal from Europe. Then Boris Johnson, whose chaotic premiership ended in
My controversial take is that the Tories were too cowardly and forced Boris to resign when he was the only way who could have made this shit work. Because think about what happened afterwards. Think about how much worse things got for the Tories after Boris. It's pretty funny that he got clapped for like the dumbest thing too. You want to know how fucking stupid this is? That he got clapped for this and not for like a million other things that he did? Like being one of the most racist British people alive for his entire career in quote unquote journalism. Like he is just an awful dog shit person in general and always plays the role of a baboon in an effort to deflect away any sort of valid criticism. And he did it very well. He got clapped for this, partying during COVID. Like that was like the big thing that happened that people were really upset about. There was some other stuff too, but like that was the most memorable one. And I think that is so funny because like that is such a non-issue in America that like Gavin Newsom did that. And absolutely nobody even brings that up. He's also a defender of a sex pest and gave him a job. What are you talking about? He's a fucking Tory. Like that is a part of the ritual of initiation. What do you mean? Was the sex pest not fucking children and instead like sexually assaulting adults? Because that would be inappropriate for the Tories. It was sexually assaulting 16, 18-year-old boys, I believe. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's too old. That's why. That's why it was unacceptable. They were like, it's too old. You must not elevate this man.
Sir Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, looks set to win a landslide.
And Labour isn't just campaigning on change, but also to end what they call the years of chaos at the hands of the Conservative government, stressing they'll be the party of economic responsibility, a message the Conservatives successfully ran on for generations.
Like right there, dude, right there. It's the most offensive thing you could possibly do, which is like not take advantage of the opportunity and the momentum. Tory failures for 14 fucking years gives this broad popular mandate to whoever comes in power after to dramatically change the trajectory of British politics. Having a light Thatcherite running the Labour Party in this moment so that all of that austerity will fucking continue. Directly taking conservative bars and adopting them and saying like, no, we're going to be the responsible party economically is so unimaginably stupid. I mean, it's not negligence. It's deliberate. It is by design for sure. Like you will never convince me that this shit is not deliberate. But overall, I would say that the UK working class is significantly or historically way more class conscious than the American working class is.
The last election was back in 2019, so Sunak had to call one before the end of this year, but he chose to do so right now, something that even members of his own party were blindsided by, as these reporters pointed out later that same day.
It's really cool that like right-wing leadership in Western Europe is just like on their random casual election shit. That's pretty funny. I mean, Macron did it too. He saw Rishi Sunak and was like, well, why don't we do that? That seems like a good idea. Only to be met with a dire defeat. Like coming in third place on the fucking parliamentary elections you ran. Insane stuff. Oh, are we going through a period of historic hostility towards the leadership? Time to call a fucking snap election, dude. Do you like me? Checks yes or no ass energy. Yes, but it's like 99% no. Yeah, I saw this analysis too. Macron apparently said that it was so that the French would experience the far right for 2 years left in his mandate rather than 5 if they were to win the next presidential election, which is so unimaginably fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, centrism is a fucking brain disease. That is the analysis. That's the only like acting theory. That's so diehard, like we'll manage fascism is a historically important liberal move. Always being like, no, we'll manage the fascists. You don't understand. Better us manage the fascists than like have the fascists come into power on their own, or worse, have the socialists come into power. And that is precisely what they're doing. God, liberalism. Oh my Lord.
This guy who resigned after he was found to watch pornography on his phone in the House of Commons. And his excuse for that was genuinely amazing.
The situation was that funnily enough, it was tractors that I was looking at. And so I did get into another website that had a sort of very similar name. And I watched it for a bit, which I shouldn't have done. But my crime, biggest crime...
was that it was adults. All right, exit polls are coming in, ladies and gentlemen.
Say in Lancashire, it looks as though they've been absolutely battered. And look at the numbers for reform, potentially up to 13 seats.
It's the worst possible person that would be leading the Labour Party in this ginormous dub that was literally given to them on a silver platter. I hate the analysis. People are going to talk about how centrism works, how centrism wins. They're going to say that if this was Corbyn, he would have fucking lost, and all this other like dumb, nonsensical bullshit with no fucking real basis to it. I'm so upset. Isn't this good overall? Like if the Dems win? No. I'll say it like this. Joe Biden was openly more progressive than Keir Starmer. Adjusted to like American politics. And Joe Biden's 4 years were openly more progressive than like what Keir Starmer's next tenure is going to look like. Also, the fucking Nazis got 13. That is crazy.
Labour was.
No, Labour is a leftist party. Historically, Labour, it's in its fucking name. Keir Starmer, on the other hand, is not. Keir Starmer is a center-right figure that successfully, among other people, openly destroyed Jeremy Corbyn, specifically so that they could overtake Labour and turn it into a center-right neoliberal party. There are still socialists within the Labour ranks, but a lot of them got purged.
Which is if we can merge with Reform, then we can come back at Labour. Labour didn't get such a high share.
Bro,
of the vote.
Reform is just straight Nazis, okay? Like, Reform is basically EDL, led by Nigel Farage, among other races, other prominent British racists. Nigel Farage basically ran a campaign of being like, we need to kill immigrants. Actually, as a matter of fact, one of the fucking MPs literally said that. We should train the British youth on our shores and use the migrant boats that are coming into England as shooting practice. That is literally a verbatim quote. I'm not even fucking paraphrasing. There was a dude door knocking, saying fucking slurs. They were using the P word, talking about Rishi Sunak. Channel 4 did an investigation that we watched. If you remember, this motherfucker was door dashing slurs. He would go up to everyone's doors and door knock and be like, what's your favorite slur? Mine is the P word. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, dude, as chatter, some of you chatters are also saying this. But I'm telling you currently, okay, watch this space. Keir Starmer does privatization, continues the austerity regime of the Tories, and then basically all the Labour strongholds go to Reform. Reform comes in hot as a motherfucker, gets more legitimacy from the Tories. The Tories have no one else to rely on, so they try to bring the Reform Party, set up a coalition, and then that only ends up legitimizing the reform positions. Keir Starmer turns around and in a last ditch effort, he already signaled towards this. He signaled towards this in the debates, and he has signaled towards as a fucking centrist. What will end up happening is Keir Starmer will also capitulate to the right-wing framing on immigration, and he already has, just like Joe Biden did, okay? That will only further solidify the reform position and only legitimize reform further. England goes right-wing next time around. What's so bad with a central left leader? I don't know. Look at the American Democratic Party. Look at the French elections that are currently taking place. Center left parties always capitulate to the most reactionary attitudes. And the Labor's not supposed to be a center left party. What the fuck are we talking about? It's got Labor in the name, dude. Labor. Do you know what that means? Like, it's very different than the Democratic Party, okay?
Thank you. So no comment about the exit poll per se, but a moment of recognition that whatever they were doing has worked.
He'll talk because, as Alistair said...
No, what he's doing has demonstrably not worked. Like, no, it's just what the Tories have done that has worked in his favor. I hate this. Keir Starmer literally did not win this race at all. If anything, Labour won in spite of Keir Starmer. He did everything in his power to literally ruin the gap that they already had. He played it safe, gave him no openings. Are you kidding me? When the railroad strikes were happening, he told his fucking MPs not to go. It's insane. They're calling it a Mickey Mouse ring. No, this is bubble ring, Mickey Mouse ring, 100%. He wanted any opportunity to avoid any opportunity for the Tories to smear him. Smear him with what? Being pro-Labor? What the fuck do you mean? It's in the name of the party, chatter. What are you talking about? The only reason why Tories didn't smear him is not because of his, like, you know, political prowess and playing it safe. is because they were too fucking busy fucking up the country. The overwhelming, unimaginable amount. There you go. Thank you, chatter. Here is proof in the fucking pudding. We asked Labor voters to tell us in their own words the main reason why they're back in the party. For the largest number by far, the key motivation is ousting the Conservatives. 48 fucking percent of Labor voters said they're voting to get the Tories out. 13% said it the same thing, but in a different way, which is the country needs a change. 14 years of Tory austerity. I agree with their policies, got 5%. All of this is directly a consequence of the fucking Conservatives absolutely dropping the ball. Meanwhile, you look at the lack of popularity for the Conservatives, and what is he doing? Adopting the Conservative policies. 1% said Keir Starmer's leadership.
Oh.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Yo, she's coming, dude.
Ever since I got kicked in the head by a horse, I get free crayons to play with as long as I don't choose them. And I have to do my vote now. It's not a very good cross, but it should let them know. I used to be able to draw swap stickers, but I'm too thick to do that now. I hope Nige wins because he's going to get our country back for us so that we can all be sex offenders and lunatics in a free country where we'll all get free crayons that we can eat.
That's so good. Oh, average reform voter, dude. Oh, man, that's perfect.